So I was telling myself in my brain, like, oh, you're intentionally dating, but I wasn't actually intentionally dating because I was letting people slide through who I know I wouldn't marry. If you are intentionally dating for marriage, why are you dating men that you would never marry? Yo, party people, it's Ashley of SingleWomanChronicles.com, where being single is a beautiful choice rather than a miserable circumstance. And today's episode is brought to you by my book, How to X Your Ex, a guide to getting past unhealthy relationships. It's time to end the agonizing cycle of unhealthy relationships. Most people struggle with breakups because they just don't know how to start the healing process. How to X Your Ex is a step by step guide on moving past unhealthy relationships. Renew your strength and find happiness by walking away from relationships that no longer serve you. Start by Xing your ex. Learn how to stop the overwhelming thoughts of your ex. Get rid of the feelings of regret and shame. Eliminate the crushing feelings of rejection. Be at peace with your decision and to leave. Be hopeful that there is better out there. And be hopeful that there is a better person out there. Get How to X Your Ex today on Amazon.com, on Audible, on Google Play Books, as well as Apple Books. All right. Who you guys, I am tired. Like, I feel like I have so much catching up on life to do because it was my best friend's birthday this past weekend and we was outside, honey. So yeah, it's just been moving. I have like usually I'm one of those people that I text back immediately, but I haven't been able to do that this weekend. Like, and if you guys see like I look tired, it's because I am. That's what that is. But I just wanted to touch on a few topics. The main topic is I've been lying to myself, and I'm gonna tell y'all what I've been lying to myself about. But before that, I want to talk about a few things. So, I got the chance to go to B Simone and Megan Ashley's first live podcast for Know For Sure on Wednesday. And when I went, um, Megan and they usually talk about purpose and whatever. And the main thing that I got out of what they were saying is ask yourself what is the truth. So we have a tendency as humans to allow negative thoughts and false narratives to go on in our head. Like when you're dealing with insecure moments, you may be telling yourself, oh, I don't look pretty, I'm not attractive, I'm fat. Or when you become unsuccessful, well, when you feel unsuccessful, you tell yourself, like, I'm a failure, no one ever wants to hire me, these kinds of things. Or, moments when you get rejected by people, you start blaming yourself, you start looking inward. So you have to develop the task of asking yourself, what is the truth? So it was very incredible that even happened because I had a vulnerable moment. Now, if you've been following me for a while, you know that I'm big on self-worth. So I studied self-worth when I got my degree, my master's in positive psychology, which is the study of happy emotions, positive emotions, I mean. So I did a big study on self-worth. And the analogy I use, if you ever hear anybody else say this analogy, they stole it from me. So mark my words. Whenever you hear this, they stole it from me. I've been saying this from day one. Okay. Roll that beautiful bean footage. Like, hello, I've been saying this. But I look at self-worth as a bank account. So every single day you're getting debits or credits to your account. So a debit is taking away, a credit is adding. So when you have a good self-worth account, you have enough stability within yourself that when outside factors threaten to debit your account, you can restore that quickly by doing things like asking yourself, what is the truth? So for me, I had a moment when I went out, and basically I felt a little self-conscious because I really wanted to buy a new outfit for something, but I couldn't afford to buy the outfit at the time. And I just picked something out of my closet, put it together, and was just like, whatever. So normally when I put it together, I'll just be like, whatever, I don't care. But it was the way my friend looked at me when she saw my outfit. She kind of looked at me and it felt like she was like sizing me up, and she didn't say anything. She literally looked at me like, and didn't say nothing. And so immediately my brain is like, oh, she doesn't like my outfit. It must look stupid. I'm awful. I can't dress. I should really go home. So all of these things are playing in my mind, and this is like an instant debit to my self-worth account. And the reason I like to say there are debits and credits daily is because people make it seem like self-worth is this like stable thing that once you get self-worth, then you never have to work on it again. It's a lie from the pits of hell. It is a lie. It is a daily struggle. It's kind of like when you lose weight, you think the weight is permanently off. No, it's not. You have to maintain it. So self-love, self-worth, self-esteem, it's something that has to be maintained. And you have to maintain it through checking the narrative going on in your head. Your mindfulness has to be on point. Joyce Meyer says it. Think about what you're thinking about. Okay? So when this was going through my head, I had to ask myself, like, what is the truth? The truth is, you've been feeling fragile lately. You've been feeling a little off and emotional because of certain things going on in your life. So you feel like everyone's looking at you and judging you when that's not the truth. The truth is, you don't know what she was thinking. She could have lost her train of thought. And either way, you know when you got time, you can put that thing on when it's necessary. So don't even feed into those lies going on in your head. You're beautiful, you're gorgeous, you're fine, you dress fine, and it ain't even about that. Go out and have fun. Like, what is you here for? You here for the fun, okay? So I was able to dispel those lies in my head by asking myself, what is the truth? So shout out to Know For Sure Podcast and Megan Ashley for saying that, because yeah, it was great. Another thing I recognized over the weekend. So I was on a fast for 21 days recently, and I was off social media, which is something that I'm going to do more of, just avoiding. I'm going to do a lot of posting going, especially like on certain. I've learned the attitude of certain social media platforms. So I'm gonna go from the nastiest of the nastiest and down. So top one for like the nastiest people in your comments, I believe, is YouTube. I would say it's YouTube. It's between YouTube and Twitter. I don't know much about Twitter, but I know that they will attack you and go on for days. I think YouTube and Twitter may be tied. Twitter may be higher, but again, I don't play with folks on Twitter. I'm not tweeting nothing. I'm not responding to nothing, because them people, you say one wrong thing and they out. I'm sorry. I'm scared. I'm good. It ain't even worth it. Like, I'm gonna leave Twitter, folks. I literally just observe on Twitter. I'm not saying nothing. YouTube is really disgusting in their comments, because people usually don't have a profile. People have like either no picture at all, or they'll have like a face of an avatar or something like that, but you can't see nobody's full profile. So people are big and bold on YouTube. Like, they be wilding out in these comments. Instagram, I've noticed, are very nasty. Like, folks won't even watch your full video. They'll take a 2-second clip and comment off that 2-second clip, not knowing what they talk about. Like, this dude was like, single black women. It was basically on a clip from my story time last week when I talk about the verbally abusive relationship. And basically I was talking about how that gentleman called me a hoe. And all of these men in my comment telling me basically you deserved it, because men only do that when you act like it. I had women talking about, why didn't you leave? And I'm like, if you would have listened to the full video, you would have heard that I was 20. I didn't know any better. I got men in the comments talk about, this is what happened when you're a single mom and you do such. I was like, baby, I ain't got no kids. What did you talk about? But I feel like even if I did have kids, what does me being a single mother have to do with somebody calling me a hoe? Like, it makes no sense. But I realized that I'm healed enough in that space that I can take all those daggers. I'm not about to argue with you. Like, my pastor, Pastor Darius Daniels, he said it best. He summed up the reason I didn't respond, because I went back and forth with myself. I was thinking, like, do you want to respond to these men in just a video? Like, stop telling women that they did something when a man calls them out of their name, because that's not the truth. Like, what are you talking about? I'm telling you, I went through a verbally abusive relationship and I did nothing wrong, and you're telling me I deserve to be called a hoe? But I'm speaking to, I had to ask myself, who are you talking to? And I'm like, girl, you talking to the young girl, because I was 20 at the time. Or there could be a young girl who's 14, who's 16, who's 17. this day and age who's 11, who's 10, who needs this message, who needs to know that they're in a verbally abusive relationship. That's who I'm talking to. I'm not talking to these angry, I'm going to not even insult them because I was about to go in. Thank you, Holy Spirit. I'm not talking to these angry, bitter men under my comments who just want to lash out at women because they hate themselves. Truly, like, I'm not talking to them. So why would I even give my energy to them? So any woman who has ever experienced just a verbally abusive relationship, a man calling you out of your name and it just hit different and it like hurt your feelings or even broke your heart, I just want you to know my heart goes out to you. A lot of people are broken, and like they say, hurt people, and a lot of people don't, they misdirect their anger, their bitterness, and I'm not giving them a pass, but because I'm at the level that I'm at now, as far as being healed and just not allowing, not agreeing with certain words. That's what I was gonna say. My pastor said, you have to be qualified enough to receive an argument from me. Like, you're not even qualified for me to argue with you. Like, we're not even here enough for me to stoop to your level and argue with you. Because what do you know? You don't know me. You probably ain't never been to therapy. Probably ain't never read a book on healing, on how to identify this. You probably don't know what the 4 love languages are. You probably don't even know what emotional intelligence is. I had a man come in underneath my post talking about traditional men aren't emotionally intelligent. You're right. Thank you for proving the point. Okay. I'm not looking for traditional. I'm looking for intelligent. I'm looking for open to flexible enough to want to understand certain things and be emotionally intelligent. I'm looking for a man of God, not a traditional man. So it's just crazy. I know I just went on a tangent, but I really just wanted to touch on that because it's just like, bro, what is going on? I don't even know where I started with this, but I just want to tell the women, like, don't allow that to discourage you. I know in my comments, it didn't discourage me. I was laughing. It was women defending me, and I was like, thank you, girl. But I'm not about to argue with these fools in these comments. But also, don't, social media right now, everyone wants to get on there and tell their business. I only tell business that I'm healed enough to tell. Like, it's certain things in my life right now that I can't talk about until maybe 2 years from now because I'm not healed enough. And so if an arrow is shot this way, I'm going to shoot back because I'm not healed enough to address that conversation. So never feel obligated to talk about something. And these are for my content creators, even for regular people, because folks just be out there telling their business. But before you tell your business on social media, understand that this is a public platform and people will attack you and say mean and ugly and hateful words. And it can make it even worse if you're not fully healed from that. So if you can't take a dagger, if you can't receive negative feedback on a situation that you are healing from, do not. Please refrain from posting. Please. We talk about mental health a lot, but are you taking charge of your mental health journey? You already know I talk about going to therapy and how my therapist snatches my edges all the time, asking me questions that I would have never thought to ask myself, asking me questions that I've pondered on for years. But I want that for you. I want growth for you. I want the best version of yourself, because the only way to reach your goal, your potential, your destiny is to become the best version of yourself. And let that begin with therapy. So let's start with Talkspace. Talkspace has a promotion right now where you can get $100 off your first month. All you need is the code SPACE. Yes, SPACE, SPACE. Click the link in the description box to get Talkspace right now today. Let's start 2023 off right. We out here. I already told y'all we out here. So get it right now. Click the link wherever you're listening. Spotify, Apple, it's in the description box, even YouTube. Get it right now. $100 off. Like $100, that's a lot of money. Y'all better come get this. Come get this therapy. Come get this therapy. That's what I meant. See, my memory is all over the place, y'all. That's what I was trying to talk about. I just went on that tangent. Before I got on here, I prayed. So hopefully somebody needed that message and I just helped you with it. But what I was trying to say is, I was off social media and I went back on, and my spirit is now really sensitive to, even more sensitive. It wants to like spit out, throw up, can't even listen to a full video of all these horror stories about dating, just what men think, even what women think, if it's in a negative light. I literally just don't want to hear it no more. Like, I literally just don't want to hear it. Like, I don't want to hear it. And yes, I give tips on pitfalls to avoid. Yes, I tell story times about past, but mine all, I will say this. You call me a hypocrite if you want, that's fine. I will say this. Mine always has a message. As far as like, there is an underlying reason I'm telling this story. I'm telling this story so you can avoid it. I'm telling this story so you can smile or you can laugh. I'm telling this story so you will know how to go about healing if you have no clue of where to start. You know what I mean? But I'm not just sitting here to tell you like, dudes suck, don't date multiple people because that's gonna solve your problems. Ain't nobody real, ain't nobody trustworthy. All these, when you put that in the atmosphere, that's what you're going to receive. You reap what you sow. You have to understand it. I feel like that concept, you reap what you sow, people take it as to like vengeance or being angry. Like, if you do something bad and you sow that seed, you're going to receive something bad. It's also what you're putting in your eye and your ear gates. If all you're sowing into the atmosphere is all women suck, all men suck, do these people dirty, don't trust nobody, that's what you're going to reap. Of course your life sucks. Of course your dating life sucks, because that's what you're putting into the atmosphere. So in order to change that, you have to learn how to sow positivity. And again, my spirit can't even receive those kinds of messages no more. Like, if somebody starts a story like, oh, let me tell you why all dudes ain't next. Oh, let me tell you why women next. Let me tell you why females next. Because I already know if a dude calls women females, you already know it's going left. Like, it's going left. It's okay. And even like people, women who try to jump into like people like the passport bros comments and argue with them, or like the high value men that are still around comments and argue with them. You cannot argue with someone or debate with someone who has already established an opinion and they want that opinion to be true. Like, they're not even open to other opinions. They want that opinion to be true. Baby, it's like talking to a wall. It's absolutely pointless. So don't even waste your time. Don't even waste your free minutes typing. Don't waste them 5 minutes. Go do something else, because you're wasting your time. All right? Okay, and last, why have I been lying to myself? So, on my fast, I was searching for clarity in a lot of different areas in my life. And one area, of course, is my love life. I always wonder. So, I was listening to a lot of Dear Future Wifey podcasts. Shout out to Laterrence Woodfield. I would love to be on his podcast one day, speaking it into existence. In Jesus' name, amen. So, a lot of the women that go on there who are married or engaged now talk about how intentional they were about dating. They were so intentional that if a guy came into their life and the guy did not fit into the parameters that they set for their dating life, they were cutting that guy off. I'm talking about like, as soon as the buffoonery started, they were like, nope. One chick talked about how she wasn't playing with these dudes. Her dating profile was like, looking for a man of God. I'm trying to get married. If you're not trying to get married, so what? Don't hit me up. I ain't hanging out with you if you don't fit this criteria. And a lot of people will be like, oh, you doing too much. That's a lie. Whatever. But is it? Why you stating what you want to lie? Because the right person gonna see that and be like, yeah, I'm on what she on. And you gonna run a lot of people away. And then she talked about how she went on a date with this one guy and she kept asking him, was he a believer of Christ? And he kept bringing up his grandparents. And she's like, what your grandparents got to do with this? Do you believe in God? And they were literally waiting on a table to sit down to eat. And he's like, honestly, I don't know what I believe. And she was like, oh, okay, cool. This isn't going to work. It was nice meeting you, though. And she left before they even got to dinner. And as she walked away, he was like, what? You're not even going to eat with me? She was like, honestly, I would be wasting your time because I need a man who believes. And at this point, if I stayed, I would be using you. And he's like, what? Okay, you're going to regret this because I'm a really good guy. And she was like, you may be a good guy, but if you're not a believer of Christ, I can't do that. When she talked about that, like the entire time, I'm just sitting over here pondering, like, girl, would you have done that? No, you would have stayed and ate dinner. The reason is I have gone through so many dating droughts and love droughts in my life. And it had me believing that there, one, were no men of God out here left. And two, that I may need to constantly keep a little dude on the side who's in almost, because if I don't, then I'm going to just be out here single forever. And that was the narrative. So I was telling myself in my brain, like, oh, you're intentionally dating, but I wasn't actually intentionally dating, because I was letting people slide through who I know I wouldn't marry. If you are intentionally dating for marriage, why are you dating men that you would never marry? That don't make no sense. Now, at first I'm kind of like, oh, you just need somebody to hang out with here and there, blah, blah, blah. Why? Why? Because really, we be lying to ourselves. We be telling ourselves, like, oh, I can hang out with this guy and he can do everything a boyfriend does. I ain't gonna catch no feelings. Who ain't? Who ain't? And even if you don't catch no feelings, you're gonna catch that convenience and you're gonna catch that consistency. And it's gonna be hard to let that go because you're used to that. You're gonna catch that comfort. That's what you're going to catch. You're going to be comfortable with this person. Because I've been in that situation where I got so comfortable with somebody who I knew that I wasn't supposed to even be hanging out with, talking to. We got on a routine. We talking every day. We hanging out more and more. We going on dates now. I'm like, what is you doing? That ain't your husband. Like, he don't even want marriage right now. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're lying to yourself. Like Meg said, what is the truth? Like, the truth is, y'all here lying because you're afraid that if you cut everybody off, or if you ignore the folks that are almost, that you may never talk to anyone, or you may never get married, or I don't believe that, though. I'm gonna check myself on that last statement. I do know that I'm gonna get married. I just don't know when. And when you get exhausted with the waiting process, you just start accepting almost. Like, you trick yourself into believing that, oh, it's not that bad because I know that he's not my husband, but I'm going to still date him anyway. And that's okay, right? It's not. Because you hurt your little feelings. Again, you falling into comfort. And you're making it hard for God to lead this man into your life. Like, because you're distracted. Now, I'm not saying that God won't send somebody if out here and you are kind of like casually dating a little bit. No, there's always an exception to the rule. But from the stories that I've heard, especially on Dear Future Wifey, the divine stories, the divine connections, which are the ones that I want. I want a purpose partner, not just somebody out here to live my life with so I can not be alone no more. No, I want a purpose partner. So the stories that I've heard, the common thread is both of them were intentional about exactly what they were looking for. If it wasn't what they were looking for, they cut it off. And the ones who I noticed who were still divine, but they were still out here playing, they went through more drama in the beginning than the ones who didn't. Meaning, yes, they got together, they ended up together, but they had a lot of chaos, spiritual warfare up front because they didn't deal with their stuff before they got together. So it's a common thread that I've been seeing, because I like to analyze situations like, what's going on here? What's going on there? What's going on? What's going on? So I noticed that. But I'm gonna stop lying to myself. I'm about to start reading this book and listening to a Tiffany, I think her name is Tiffany, I'm saying her name all wrong, Montgomery, Year of the Husband. My homegirl sent it to me. So we're gonna both start it together on the March the 1st. And I'm gonna be reading this book called Knight in Shining Armor by P.B. Wilson, I believe. And I'm just praying for my husband, and I'm just being more intentional, and I'm gonna cut off all potential situations that are not these men I wouldn't marry. I be knowing. Like, I can really tell in like the first conversation if I can marry this man. Like, or if he's just not at all. I'll say that. Like, potential. Like, in the first conversation, I know, like, this could possibly be somebody I could marry if all the stars align and if we are compatible. Because it's like, okay, this person is a man of God, not a guy that just goes to church. This person has gone to therapy. They're emotionally intelligent. This person is stable in their life. They don't need a place to stay. They're not like having, you know, baby mama crazy child support issues where they're taking money out of his account. So if y'all get married, they taking money out of your account. They're not doing all that, okay? So potentially I can marry this person. But again, I be out here, men be like, I'd be like, y'all, you Christian? Oh yeah, you know, I go to church. But are you a Christian? I mean, I go to church. That don't mean you a Christian. Like, come on, man. Or somebody like, so would you call yourself emotionally available? You know, I haven't been in the past, but I feel like I can be. What is you talking about? Bye. So I'm going to be way more intentional in this coming season, and I'm excited about it. Also scared because it's like, oh my God, what is that going to look like? But I can do it. I can do it. I believe in me. I believe in me. But all right, y'all, that was my little spiel. I know I was all over the place, but until next time, bye.